Molly Bannaky. In 1683, young Molly Bannaky was working for a wealthy landowner in England. Every morning she woke up at 5 o'clock to milk the landowner's cow. One morning, Molly spilled all the milk that was in her pail. For this mistake, she was taken to court for stealing. The court ruled that Molly had to leave the country and to go to the American colonies. For 7 years, Molly worked as an indentured servant in the Maryland colony. Afterward, she was given her freedom and her life changed greatly. Read now about Molly's new life in the Maryland colony. After working for the planter for 7 years, Molly was free to go. As the law required, the farmer gave her an ox hitched to a cart, a plow, 2 hoes, a bag of tobacco seeds, a bag of seed corn, clothing, and a gun. Acres and acres of fertile land stretched ahead of her. Just before sunset that same day, Molly left the road and went 4 miles into the wilderness, where she staked her claim. That a lone woman should stake land was unheard of, but Molly's new neighbors saw the way she jutted out her chin. They helped her cart the tobacco to the warehouse to sell. But Molly soon realized that the farm was too much for her to manage alone. One day, Molly read a posted announcement that a ship would be landing soon. Because she needed help in working her land, she decided to watch the docking of this ship, a slave ship. She watched the men of Africa file by, one after the other. She saw the misery, anger, and shame on their faces as they were forced to mount the auction block. Then Molly noticed a tall, regal man who dared to look into the eyes of every bidder. Molly bought him and vowed to treat him well and set him free just as soon as her land was cleared. Molly talked to this man, using her hands and arms to tell him of her homeland and of her years as an indentured servant. He told her his name, Bannaky. Molly and Bannaky grew to love each other. She signed his freedom papers, and a traveling minister performed their marriage rites. Her neighbors came to accept this marriage and to respect Bannaky. In times of drought, he shared his knowledge of irrigation and crop rotation, learned at an early age in his native country. Years passed. Molly and Bannaky had 4 young daughters. In time, she had a grandson. In her Bible, Molly wrote her new grandson's name, Benjamin Banneker. She taught this young boy to read and write. She told him about his grandfather, a prince who was the son of a king in Africa, and about her days as a dairymaid across the ocean in England. When Benjamin Banneker grew up, he became a scientist and mathematician. He taught himself astronomy and land surveying. In 1791 and 1792, he worked with Andrew Ellicott, another surveyor, to plan the city of Washington, D.C. Banneker became a famous author of his own almanac. In 1791, he sent a copy of his almanac to Thomas Jefferson. With it, he included a letter expressing his views on the injustice of slavery. Why did Molly bring Bannaky to her farm? Imagine you have been sent to the Maryland colony in 1683 to become an indentured servant. Write a brief description of what your daily life is like.